The Peace Corps totally changed and formed my entire life. Absolutely entire life. I want you to imagine for a minute that you are with 84 Peace Corps volunteers. You are in a Pan Am super duper clipper headed for Liberia, West Africa. You've been in the air 14 hours and you are exhausted. However, you have had your last supper, which tended to be steak and champagne and a few other things I can't remember at this point. However, you are having a wonderful time realizing that this probably is the last really great meal you'll have for at least 2 years. Upon arriving at the tarmac in Monrovia, we looked around at each other, and as the door opened up and this blast of steam, like you were just getting out of or into a shower, hit us. And at that point, we all thought, oh my gosh, what am I getting myself into? We were afraid. We were excited. We were curious. And we were open minded about what was about to happen. As I was greeted by an ambassador, my husband and I said, my goodness, it's green. To which he said, wait. He says, wait till it rains. Then you will see the real green. Well, later I looked back at that moment and realized that that was an analogy for absolutely everything that happened in those 2 years. Because as the green was exposed by the rain, and the rain being both refreshing and beginnings as well as stressful, every new layer came up. Every new way of looking at this population happened. And at the very core of their existence, we began to realize that there was an understanding between cultures, that really we were not the stereotype that they had thought we were. We were not the rich Americans. We were not the ones that, yeah, although we did kill our president, they knew all about us and they had a stereotype that was not real. So during those 2 years, not only did we learn from them, but they learned from us. I'm going to chronicle 4 different areas that extended into my rest of my life to create a group built around my learnings. The first was as we appeared and I was to teach elementary school language arts, I soon realized that all that they knew was to parrot back what I told them. That did not work. That's not how you learn. So that really was my biggest challenge that I took care of later and hopefully will bring back to them is to how to learn literacy. The second was when we were in one evening, well, actually early in the morning, a fellow came and knocked on the door, frantic. Come, 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 come. What is it? What is it? Well, his son across the river in the bush village had hurt himself and had slashed his knee with a machete. But it's okay. They did everything they could by stuffing it with sugar. One can only imagine. So we began to realize that the wellness that they had to have was built upon belief and tribal understanding of what was to be real. So wellness was the second area that we needed to improve upon and that I have in my future life. The third was the environment. And that environment means that what was their staple? Their staple was rice. And where were they getting it from? Texas. So we taught them how to create swamp rice so that they actually could make their own. And the last was the employment. And of course, the jobs there were very scarce. And the education of those people to get jobs was something that was not real common. So as I left the Peace Corps 50 years later, I created the Global Impact Network, working in sustainability to countries that are underserved in this world, to give them literacy, wellness, work with the environment, and employment. And I'm doing that mostly in Africa with at least 20 different nonprofits. Thank you, Liberia. Thank you, Peace Corps. You have made my life.